Hello, I'm Jim Adamski with CDL, and today we're going to talk about the use of maple sap tubing, fittings, and how it works. So what we have is we have some pre-cut pieces of maple sap tubing, and what we're going to do is we're going to put a couple of taps in a tree. We're going to run them down to a 5-gallon bucket. So as you can see, this is a very flexible line, fairly easy to work with. We do recommend to put fittings on though. That if you warm the tubing up in some warm water is really our best scenario. Try to avoid an open flame. We can melt our tubing and it'll lose its properties. So if we warm up our tubing into the warm water for just a minute, if you're going to pre-make some of these in the house or in the shop before you go to the woods, if you warm them up, we can simply just take them and slide them right onto our fittings. It'll slide right on. We want to make sure that we get it on over the barb so that we ensure that we don't have any leaks. So what we're going to do is, for this particular example, we're going to put a couple taps together, and then what we're going to do is we're going to run them down into a 5-gallon pail. So like I say, we'll warm this tubing up in the water just a little bit. We'll slide our fittings on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to turn around on the other end. We're going to run these two particular hoses into one of our T fittings, which is what we're going to run down to our 5-gallon collection bucket. So we'll warm up these fittings slightly. And what we'll do is, these are a little different fitting. So they are 2-barb fitting, so we want to press them on so we get over both barbs. So we'll turn this around. Once we have the hoses on both barbs, we will warm up our drop hose. This is going to go down into our pail, so we're just going to warm this particular hose up as well. And we're going to press that hose on the fitting. Okay. In this particular example, we pre-drilled a couple of tap holes. Once again, we're going to use our CDL tapping hammer. We're going to insert our tap into our tap hole. We're going to tap gently until you hear the pitch change on the tap. That way we know the tap is seated properly. We're going to go around to the opposite side of the tree. Once you hear the thud noise, we know our tap is seated. We're going to run this particular hose into a 5-gallon pail. Drilling a small hole through the side of the pail allows us to put the hose down into the pail. Still allows us to put a 5-gallon cover on top, and that will allow you to keep the debris out of your sap. So a couple other things that we use along with tubing is, if we do have some rodents in our woods, such as red squirrels or gray squirrels, and they chew holes through our lines in any of our locations, we can use this small splice fitting for any line repair that we have. And with that being said, when we get to the end of the season and it's time to untap the trees, CDL does make a really nice spout extraction tool. You will see that it has 2 stages on it. So if we go to the bottom stage, what we can do is we can pull our hose off our tap. These taps are really meant to be disposable taps to clear polycarbonates. That way we can put a clean tap into that tap hole every year. The top notch will extract our tap basically from our tree like so. So we'll come around to the opposite side. We can pull our tap hose off, and we can remove our tap from our tree. If you have any other questions, please visit our website.